If Return to Oz ever left you feeling confused, then stay tuned. I'm about to break this movie into itty-bitty digestible bits. Hey there, friends and family members. Welcome to the Fangirl. I'm your hostess, McGann, here to talk about one of my childhood favorite movies, Return to Oz. For those of you who've never seen the movie or need a refresher, Return to Oz is set about 6 months after the tornado hit in The Wizard of Oz. Auntie Em and Uncle Henry are at the end of their rope trying to deal with rebuilding their home and dealing with Dorothy, who won't shut up about her friends from Oz. It's gotten so bad that Auntie Em is taking Dorothy in to get specialty treatment so that she'll never think about Oz again. However, a mysterious girl helps Dorothy escape, and then she seems to drown when the girls fall into a nearby river, but Dorothy wakes up in Oz's deadly desert with her chicken Bellina, and then they find the army of Oz, which actually consists of one metal dude named TikTok who has to constantly be wound up. Then they end up with Princess Mombi, who's totally evil, wants to take off Dorothy's head to use as one of her own, and Mombi delivers that infamous Dorothy Gale line that just haunted me my entire childhood. Dorothy Gale. Also in Mombi's palace is a guy named Jack Pumpkinhead, who's a living pumpkin man. But before Mombi can take Dorothy's head, they all escape by tying furniture together and bringing a Gumphead to life to fly them off to the Nome King's mountain. Now the Nome King, who took over Oz, has destroyed everyone and everything who ever lived there. And he was able to do this because Dorothy accidentally dropped her ruby red slippers right in his lap as she was taking off from Oz the last time. Whoopsie! Basically, the Nome King states that he made all of the gems in that world and the people of Oz stole them.
All the precious stones in the world are made here, in my underground dominions. All made for me, by my gnomes. So imagine how I feel when someone from the world above digs down and steals my treasures. All those emeralds in the Emerald City really belong to me.
So what else could the Nome King do but use the ruby red slippers to steal all the emeralds back?
I was just taking back what was mine to begin with.
To a degree, he's not being unreasonable here. But to skip to the end, remember that chicken who randomly appeared with Dorothy? Well, the Nome King says that eggs are poison, and out of nowhere, Bellina pops up and lays an egg right down his throat. It was all some serendipitous accident so that the Nome King dies in this really horrific face falling apart kind of way. And the girl who had drowned trying to help Dorothy escape, she comes back, turns out to be Ozma of Oz, who was trapped in a mirror by Mombi. And then Dorothy goes back home again. The end. I recently learned that my husband hates this movie, and I was like, why, Puffy? Is it because they want to electrically shock Dorothy's brain? Is it the lady that changes heads? The flying couch moose who falls apart and later gets eaten? Characters getting turned into helpless inanimate objects? The gruesome death of the Nome King? The desert that turns people into sand? Or the Wheelers who made 3-year-old me hide behind my grandma's coffee table every time they came on screen? Oh wait, yeah, this movie is horrific. Truly, if you think Coraline is dark or messed up, you need to check out this dystopian view of Oz. And it's on Disney Plus right now, so this is a great time to watch it. But in true Wizard of Oz fashion, everything that happens in Oz really parallels Dorothy's life in Kansas. We start with seeing Dorothy withdrawn and lethargic, like a part of herself is missing since she went to Oz. Aunt Em, which, quick side note, but I think her actual name is Emerald. Em mentions that her sister's name is Garnet, which is another gem name.
Garnet said she'd loan it to us.
That's Charity, Em.
She's my sister's family, not Charity.
And costuming just covered Aunt Em in green during that movie. But Aunt Em is living in shambles, her home is gone, her new home isn't complete because her husband had a broken leg, but now he's milking it, refusing to work.
He broke his leg, Aunt Em.
Dorothy, that leg's mended. It's mended.
And with Dorothy's mind checked out, Em is all by herself to run the entire farm. So Aunt Em is the Oz that we find later, just destroyed and having to deal with it. She really is the walking, talking version of the Emerald City being stripped of its emeralds. And Em really means well in this movie. She wants to help fix Dorothy, and she does this in a very 1800s way by taking her to see Dr. J.B. Worley. That's the weirdest name. And Dr. Worley believes that he can fix people with electrical currents. And take note that the machine he uses has a lot of the same features as TikTok. I mean, it goes as far as having the exact same type of handle to turn the gears. And Dr. Worley isn't really a bad character. He really believes that he's doing some miracles with science, even if that means he is damaging a lot of his patients and locking them in the basement. And similarly, Worley's Oz counterpart, the Nome King, isn't really a bad guy either. Well, okay, I mean, he is definitely the bad guy, but when the Nome King explained that he felt attacked and that people were stealing his emeralds, I could get where he was coming from. He turned people into stone, which isn't great, but to be fair, if the Nome King did think he was at war with the surface dwellers, then he may have seen turning people to stone as a way to subdue his enemies peacefully and prevent any counterattacks. At best, he's an ambiguous character. I wouldn't say he's fully evil, but he's definitely not good either. Back in Kansas, there was also this nasty looking head nurse, Miss Wilson. Again, she never really did anything awful to Dorothy. She was kind of catty and she looked mean, but she was also kind of just doing her job. To Dorothy's mind though, Miss Wilson would not be seen very favorably, so it's no surprise that Princess Mombi's real head happens to look like Miss Wilson. And just to clarify, Princess Mombi is a servant of the Nome King, but she kind of works for him under this arrangement of getting people's heads, which is actually a great analogy for being two-faced. We don't get a ton of screen time with Miss Wilson and Aunt Em, but Miss Wilson does seem all prim and proper when she's there, and then kind of, you're not gonna eat this peasant lunch as soon as Aunt Em is out of view. So Miss Wilson and Mombi do both have this sort of two-faced personality. But then when Dorothy goes home at the end of the movie, it has always confused me that Miss Wilson is being hauled off in a jail cart. Like, why? What did she do? The movie gives us no explanation for why she's being arrested, but when Ozma and Dorothy ran into the river, Miss Wilson went too to try to save them, but she couldn't. So is that why she was getting arrested? Because she lost Dorothy? Or was it because of the people who burned up in the basement when the house set on fire? What? Was Miss Wilson, the nurse, being used as a scapegoat here? I'd love to know. But moving on, because I don't have an answer, even Dorothy has a non-identical parallel with Ozma. Ozma first appears to Dorothy while she's sitting in Worley's office looking at the machine that's about to take her memories of Oz away. Then when Dorothy's waiting for the procedure to start, Ozma enters her room without even opening the door. And Ozma's giving Dorothy a pumpkin, which in Dorothy's head could easily account for where Jack Pumpkinhead came from later. So again, everything that happens in Oz is directly connected to what happened in the real world in Kansas. And funny enough, at the end of the movie, when Dorothy's saying, "I can't stay here and be your queen, but I wish I could be in two places at once,"
I wish I could be in both places at the same time.
poof! Up comes Ozma in the mirror, and Dorothy somehow has the power to help her escape. So Ozma is Dorothy. Dorothy is Ozma. They're a reflection of each other. But what is so maddening to me about this movie is that there isn't one shred of evidence on whether or not Oz is real, or if Dorothy is having some kind of PTSD meltdown because of the tornado. Seriously, even tangible evidence, like Billina the chicken not being at the farm at the end of the movie, is explained away because at the beginning of the movie, Dorothy says, "Aunt Em's gonna eat you if you don't start laying eggs, Billina."
Alina, if you don't start laying again, Aunt Em says she's gonna stew you up for supper.
So did Billina stay in Oz for real, or was she dinner while Dorothy was gone, and her young mind just doesn't want to process that her favorite pet chicken is dead? I warned you, this was a crazy movie. The only semi-concrete clue to Oz is Ozma being in the real world, and even that could have been Dorothy's imagination or her internal struggle to not give up the thing she loves the most. And really, Nurse Wilson shines a light on both girls before they go running into the river, but there wasn't one word to acknowledge whether Nurse Wilson saw two girls or just Dorothy. Well, I guess we could argue that Ozma does come in and untie Dorothy from the bed, and that's how she's able to escape. But could a 10-year-old have wiggled around on straps from the 1800s and gotten out on her own? It's definitely probable. Plus, if Oz and Ozma were real, why is it that Ozma said Aunt Em can't see them when she appears to Dorothy in the mirror? And it wasn't like, oh no, she won't see us, we only exist in your heart kind of thing. It was, no, don't tell anybody about Oz. It's like Fight Club. And that makes it so perplexing. In my heart of hearts, I want to say that Oz is real, but so much of what Dorothy sees there is identical to things she saw or did in Kansas. And that makes it really hard to argue a point that Oz is an actual tangible place. So I guess the only thing left to do in this breakdown is open the floor to you guys. What do you think about Oz and the strong parallels it has to the real world? The theme of using the same actors to be both Kansas residents and Oz inhabitants has been done in all 3 of the Oz movies, and that makes it very difficult for me to decide if Oz is a real place or if it's some coma-like dream world that people make up during a near-death experience. Even Dorothy's lunch pail gets incorporated into a lunch pail tree, and this movie is so weird and dark and bleak, and I love it so much. I might be overthinking it, but that's literally my job. However, a mysterious girl helps Dorothy escape from However, a mysterious girl helps Dorothy escape from electric shock treatment. However, a mysterious girl helps Dorothy escape from However, a mysterious girl helps Dorothy escape from what is wrong? And the girl who had helped Dorothy escape from electric. Well, family members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, hey McGann, I want to mail you something. How do I do that? Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Family. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Family and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share 1 or 2 on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos like you helps to tell the site, hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people. So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, family members. Bye.